Lesson 1, The Common Roots of English and German. So, Lisa, as an English speaker studying German, that's me I'm referring to, when I look at German, it just looks and feels like it's related to English. It seems like English and German are just similar in structure and also similar in vocabulary. As a native speaker of German, what can you tell us about the relationship between English and German?
That was the same for me when I learned English, actually. So both of the language, they come from the same family. Like if you imagine a tree as the same branch, they would be both under the branch of West Germanic languages. So they share like a family resemblance in a way, and therefore they have common features, and you will see that. I think many people see it most in the vocabulary. So I could give an example.
Please do.
For example, the word Arm in German, der Arm.
That's A-R-M.
Might remind you of an English word, which is very similar, arm.
Right, because they're spelled exactly the same.
So some are actually even spelled the same. Some are spelled a little different, but you might find the resemblance.
Lisa, another example I can think of is the German word for son, as in male offspring, like son and daughter. In English, it's spelled S-O-N, but in German, there's one extra letter. It's S-O-H-N.
In the spelling, yes.
So German and English, as languages, are related. It's like they're cousins. And so you're going to see all kinds of similarities between the two languages. You're going to see similar vocabulary, similar spelling, and even similar sentence structure. And this all goes back to the history of Europe, because as we say here in the book, in Lesson 1, in the 5th century A.D., Germanic tribes came over to Great Britain from mainland Europe. These tribes came over to Great Britain, and they were speaking Germanic languages. These groups were called the Utes, it's J-U-T-E-S, and the Angles, and the Saxons. And these tribes are from places like the northern part of what is today Germany, and also Denmark. And so as these tribes came into Great Britain, they took over from the Celtic peoples that were living there already. And so the Celtic peoples moved to the west, and that's why you have these ancient Celtic languages preserved in places like Cornwall, Wales, Scotland, and also in Ireland, because as the Anglo-Saxons came in from the east, the Celts moved west. So the Angles, that's A-N-G-L-E-S, well, that's their name is where we get the word English from, because it's really Anglish. And so the language they brought with them, sometimes you see it referred to as Anglo-Saxon, other times you see it referred to as Old English. In other words, the absolute first stage of the English language historically. So that's how these Germanic languages got to Great Britain in the first place, is through the invasion and migration of these Germanic peoples. So over time, the language of the Angles and the Saxons, it started out as Anglo-Saxon or Old English, and then over time it developed into Middle English, and then it developed into Modern English. And so that's why English and German are related, is because they come from the same original place. And so that's why we say, as we say here in the book, that German and English are cousins. They're distant cousins. So if you're going along in your German studies and you see something in German that reminds you of English, it's not your imagination. The reason that it reminds you of English is because the two languages are related.